Yeah, so like pretty much just do all my political rants and stuff on Twitter, and then I found out that there were more people who felt the same way as I did, and we kind of started, following each other, and then there was more and more, and then all the bullshit that went through with everybody trying to push Joe Biden down our throats because we had to get rid of the orange bad man, and so there's always seems to be something that the mainstream media doesn't cover, but a lot of these independent news shows do cover. That's why I like to watch them a lot. But I was a big fan of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. Yeah, you know me. Yeah. Because I thought, okay, granted, I didn't dig into her past. I didn't know really that much about her, but the fact that she was primarying an establishment Democrat that had been there for decades, and basically that Democrat that she beat, his only thing that he had ever done was fundraise for the party. I mean, it's basically like Nancy Pelosi. They're just fundraisers. They don't do actual real legislation, right? So when the squad like AOC and Jemiah, I don't know, damn, a lady from Minnesota, there's Ilhan Omar, and there's like a whole bunch of people that make up the squad or whatever, and they're supposed to come in there and shake up the establishment. Like, when these corporate Democrats want to do like war and give, tax breaks to rich people and stuff like that, they're supposed to come in and put the kibosh on that shit, But it just seems to me that they haven't done that. All they've done is just they care about their brand. Because when they're on, I don't know, you're probably not on Twitter as much as I am, but I happen to follow a lot of them, and they make these tweets. It's like, now, what would universal health care mean to you? And I think, what is it? Somebody called it. They called those tweets poverty porn. They called it poverty porn, like to kind of like, what would this mean to you? Like, yeah, gimme. Yeah, what would this mean to you? Yeah, gimme. And then they don't do nothing, So that's why I say their brand is more important than anything any kind of legislation and stuff like, because they haven't tried to stop Biden. A lot of these, they say they have, but they haven't actually used their numbers to do it, And I know probably you don't know a lot about this stuff, but which is fine, and it probably is better because I don't know, it hurts your brain. It's kind of like, was it ignorance is bliss, that kind of thing. These days, it kind of pays to be ignorant if you want to keep your sanity. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. So let me put you into my political perspective, I guess, because please. Like I really wasn't into politics at all. And then, like, I guess in college, I started watching Politically Incorrect just because I like the humor and I like that format. And then you had Daily Show and that kind of stuff. So I kind of got into it, but I never really got into it. And then the 2016 election came around and Trump was running, and I was like, oh, my God, this will be hilarious. I'm sure like all other Democrat liberal people were thinking like, oh, this is hilarious. Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. I wonder who's going to win. Well, shock, right? Like, surprise, the con artist won. And I did not like Donald Trump because he's a bully. I just don't like bullies at all. So when you say, and I've seen tweets that you've done where you talk about the lesser of the two evils, that they're both evil and that kind of stuff. Honestly, I really did feel that the Democrat would be the lesser of the two evils. Why did I feel that? Because I believe I knew who Donald Trump was. I believe I thought I know he's a bully. He's a con man. And you can see that out of Trump University and all that other stuff. So I was never really for Trump. So then I'm watching, and I'm getting into politics, and I'm watching MSNBC, and I'm also watching Fox. So I'm getting both of the extreme views, I think, of left and right. Then Trump wins, and it's unbelievable, but I'm stuck. So then, because I was watching MSNBC, I started watching Rachel Maddow. I really liked Rachel Maddow because she would start her show basically with a history lesson. She would talk about something in the past and then tie it into what's going on currently. And I love that. Like, you're learning history and you're learning how it repeats itself. But then when Donald Trump got elected, she was really more about just going after Trump, after anything that he would do. Same thing with all the other liberal media. Anything bad Trump would do, or even if it wasn't bad, they would go after him. And after a while, man, I just got really tired of it. It was just more stress than anything else. Just, going on. Now that Biden won, Maddow has really kind of gotten back to the history and how it ties into today. And I really like that. However, the other night, I don't know if you watch her or not, but the other night, she was really distraught about Biden's DOJ about not going after, Trump. And it's like, there is a disconnect, because I've seen your tweets, I've seen other people's tweets, and the mainstream media is in on it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. They're going to screw you over. They're going to screw us over. It doesn't matter what party you are, which I want to get to later, because we are talking about the squad. But it was funny to see the disconnect between, I guess, the parties, Republican and Democrat, saying, hey, we're not going after you. But the media is like, why aren't you going after Trump? And I believe there should be some accountability if he did something wrong. If it was proven that he did something wrong, totally should be some accountability there. But that's
what they were calling Trump derangement syndrome, and it was the whole Russiagate thing was just a complete nutty situation. They never found any hard actual evidence. It was what the press was running on. The press was running on these this information that they were getting from the intelligence community, and even then the intelligence community was saying, well, it's likely, it might be. It was very there was no, oh, we got the hard facts, here's the reams of paper, here's what's going on, so but because Trump was such an asshole, it was just it's like the Democrats just went full on zombie mode, just focused on Trump 24 hours a day. Rachel Maddow, Keith Olbermann, CNN, all these fuckers. I mean, I used to watch, I was with you. During the Gulf War, I used to watch Rachel Maddow. I don't know if she had just started, I think, maybe during the Gulf War. But I used to watch Keith Olbermann religiously, because he was always hammering Bush. He was hammering him left and right, boom, 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 and he would even attack some Democrats that would be helping Bush, So I was like, all right, Keith, good for you, right? And that show is where I discovered Bernie Sanders, because Bernie was always he was a frequent guest on that show. And Bernie has been saying the same shit for 40 years, Medicare for all, we got to get free college, we got to fix the environment, all this stuff. He's been consistent for 40 years. And he was saying that shit on Keith Olbermann. So when 2016 came around and Bernie announced that he was going to run, I was like, finally, there's not some sellout piece of shit, lesser of two evil shit that I got to pick from. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the last national election I voted in, I think I voted for Dukakis. That's how long it was been. Bernie brought me out of the wilderness, and he brought a lot of people out of the wilderness. You know what I mean? And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about the squad. it's like, okay, Bernie, what happened to you? You in 2016, you were railroaded. There was a lot. There was a lot of crazy shit going on at a lot of these primary voting and stuff like that. And I don't want to say that was all that. Bernie made his mistakes. All right, I'm not here to praise or bury Bernie. I'm just here to say that he made mistakes. But the thing was,
what mistakes did he make?
Well, I mean, some of the people. Well, 2016, he didn't make that many mistakes. He was I think he was more screwed over in 2016.
The DNC took him up.
Well, remember in 2016 you had the superdelegates, right? So
yeah.
Hillary had all the superdelegates right off the top, and what the mainstream media did is they took those numbers and skewed it to make it look like Hillary had all this support from voters, but it was really from superdelegates, right? So all that shit went down. So let's fast forward to 2020. So now Bernie's got some juice behind him, right? Bernie's the man, right? Boom, he wins Iowa. He wins New Hampshire. He kicks ass in Nevada, and it's like everything's gravy, right? He's flown. He's doing his thing, and then when he gets into debates, he doesn't press anybody. He may be a little bit, but he keeps saying, "My friend Joe, my friend Joe, my friend Joe." I wanted to punch him in the fucking mouth. I'm like, stop calling me your fucking friend, all right? Joe Biden is nobody's friend. I don't even think Hunter Biden likes him. I mean, that's a bold statement. I know for sure. And I have been sipping on a little bit of the devil's tear ducts. But Joe Biden was in last place. And if Jim Clyburn, that piece of shit that's in South Carolina, if Jim Clyburn hadn't have said, y'all need to vote for Joe Biden, who knows? Maybe Bernie's president. Because I know Bernie would have kicked Trump's ass. Bernie would have swept him off the floor.
I would agree with that. And I think that was interesting too, because Clyburn is promoting Biden. But who was at the civil rights movement? Who was getting arrested?
Well, Biden said he was. Biden said he was. He said he said he was at the civil rights. It was Bernie. Bernie was getting arrested. Bernie was standing on the front lines. Bernie was there, and that was surprising to me. What's wrong? No, you're right. I'm trying to picture. I'm gonna look for that picture of Bernie, and so let me see if I can find you. But please continue.
Yeah, he was rocking those glasses. I don't know if they were thinner than these, I think. But Bernie, man, I would have loved to have seen Bernie go against Trump. However, I think the debates would have turned out exactly the same way. I am glad that Trump is not our president. I believe that there he is.
That's our boy.
Yeah, man. Why aren't you promoting him? Why aren't you backing him? I do believe that a president should be presidential, and I did not get that from Trump. I believe that Biden says the right things, but of course, when he gets into office, oh yeah, marijuana, whatever, it's cool, it's fine. But then his staffers are getting demoted or moved or whatever if they claim that they were smoking. $15 minimum wage, where did that go? $2,000 went to $1,400, which is still great for somebody like me who didn't really need it. But thank you. But you need to have people. I don't know.
It wasn't like they couldn't do the 2,000. That's like fiat currency. They could just print that shit out. You know what I mean? Because what it's going to do is it's just going to go back into the economy, and that's what a stimulus is. You pay people. First off, you shut it down. You shut everybody down, and then get this fucking this vaccine out. Do it properly right off the bat. Get this as quickly as possible, and then you know, and then you take care of the people while they're shut down. You know, I mean, Germany was doing that. I think all these first world European countries were doing this shit. Hell, some third world countries in fucking Africa were doing that shit, man. They were like giving them $400 a month. You know?
How many people have free health care, though? You know, like how many countries have free health care?
Yeah.
Not United States.
No.
And I'm tired of people saying we can't afford it or it's freeloading or whatever like that, man. Like, no, don't tie this stuff into employment. Give us health care. Let us look at our eyes, our teeth, our health. Let's do preventive medicine. You know, there's so much stuff that we could do, man. We could have flying cars right now, man. Like,
we should have had flying cars already. We should have had flying cars a long fucking time ago. You know they killed the electric car back in like the 70s or 80s, right? We would have had electric cars way back then.
Going back to Venice, right? Like that was the whole thing. The canals in Venice or in Venice, California, right? That was set up for boats, correct? I could totally be wrong about this, but the way I remember it, it was set up for like boat travel. So you could get in a boat or whatever and travel. But the automotive industry got involved and they nixed that. Like, it's amazing, like, companies and the vast reach that they have, like into the politics. It's amazing to me. It blows me away and it pisses me off and I hate it. I know we're going to get to the squad. I'm so sorry, but like Republican and Democrat, why do we even need those parties? I'll tell you why. It's for, how do I put it? It's for people who don't want to research to come up with an easy answer. Yeah. Right? I'm a Democrat. I'm going to vote Democrat. I'm going to vote against anything Republican. I'm a Republican. I'm going to vote Republican against anything Democrat. Well, that's stupid. If it's a good idea, promote it. Let's get infrastructure working, man. I'm driving on a road that's got potholes on it. Let's fix that.
Yeah.
We need that fixed. Let's come together and do that.
Bridges are collapsing. Bridges and roads across the country are just, I mean, you see like these videos of these bridges. I think there was one in Minnesota that collapsed. I don't know. That was like a few years back, but I mean, but the thing is, it's every single politician in Washington is at the whim of their donors. You know, and it sounds cliche to say that, but it's true. I mean, just look at the legislation they passed.
It's not cliche to say that because think about why they haven't passed term limits.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Why haven't they passed term limits? I'll tell you why they haven't passed term limits. Because people like Dianne Feinstein or I don't know, somebody else that's old or whatever that shouldn't be there anymore, like they're getting their pockets filled by corporate donors.
Yeah.
I can't prove that. I haven't done the research, but that's exactly what's happening. Like
you can get the proof. I mean, opensecrets.org, I think. And it shows you could go to Open Secrets. You could see any politician, who their donors are, that sort of thing. So Open Secrets is really good. I don't think
you'd be able to see everything, dude.
Well, not the dark shit. I mean, not like the under the table stuff, but like the actual like that they have to report to the Federal Elections Commission, the FEC. So those you see on there.
Instead of passing term limits, I'd like to promote something. Instead of passing term limits, I would like to say that if you ever flip-flop on something, you're out.
Yeah.
So if you say something like, well, the Republicans did that and it's shameful and it's horrible. And then you turn around next year and do the exact same thing. It's if you're being hypocritical, let me put it that way. If you're being hypocritical, you should be booted. You could flip-flop on something. You could change your mind. I totally get that. But if you're a hypocrite, man, get out, man. Like that's exactly what's going on right now. Like, oh, shame on them. They did this. Well, you did the exact same thing like 4 years ago. You know, it sucks, man. See, I get stressed out over it, man. It sucks.